Hey guys, welcome to DSA-n-Design. Today we are looking at another problem which we can use stack data structure to solve this. Alright, so before that, if you are visiting first time on this channel, please do consider to subscribe this channel. We are covering DSA-n-Design on this particular channel. Alright, so let's try to understand first this problem step by step, and then after that we will actually try to see how we can use stack data structure to solve this, right? So this problem is basically called as balanced parenthesis check. All right. So the thing is, it's basically the problem statement goes like this: string A consists of parenthesis sequence, right? So there are multiple parentheses, and which are considered as which are basically as part of your string, right? Verify whether the pair and the order of, so we have basically these many parentheses. So this curly braces, right? So opening, closing, and then this parenthesis, and then your square bracket. These are the basically six different kind of parentheses we can use in this particular problem statement. What exactly we want to see that if we have to return basically s if the parenthesis sequence is balanced. I think it should be no here if it is not balanced, okay, and if it is balanced, s if it is balanced. All right, so what we have to do, we have to return basically no, which is basically again a string. So my return type will be string if the parenthesis sequence, given the parenthesis sequence, which are basically a kind of not balanced, right? If they are not balanced, then return no. If they are balanced, then return simply yes, right? Let's try to understand what balanced meaning here, right? So for example, if you can look at this particular question, right? So we have starting with the curly braces opening, right? And then we have these two brackets, right? So opening and closing are there together, which can actually, if you see that these are balanced, right? One is opening, one is closing, which means this is gone. This can be balanced. And then again the square bracket opening and closing, these are also actually balanced, right? But this one actually opened one, and then last one is also one closed one. In this case you see that this is basically balanced because there is a corresponding bracket for this curly also, right? Closing bracket, right? So there should be a kind of balancing of the basically the parenthesis sequences. For example, if you look at this, there is a this basically this part is basically balanced because opening and closing is there. Now if you look at carefully here, for opening there is a bracket, but if you see that this parenthesis, right, the this one, right, this one do not have any closing bracket, right? For this, for the curly bracket there is a closing, but for this particular bracket we don't have any closing, which means this is not balanced. So what we need, we need basically something like this basically, which can be balanced. Okay, if I say, if I close it like this is also not kind of a kind of closing, correct? Because see, if you see it here, right, we are closing it here, no, opening and closing, and in between, and this is actually going outside. So actually to make it balanced I have to put it here rather than this one, right? So but for now assume that we have like this. So this is not a balanced one, right? Let's try to understand basically, and we can actually dry run with some other examples as well, right? Hopefully you understand it, right? So there should be each corresponding, bracket type, opening and early should be there in a pair. Otherwise, it is not a balanced. So if it is balanced, in that case, I have to return yes. Otherwise, I have to return no, right? Simple. Let's try to use the whiteboard and try to understand basically what it means, right? So first of all, let's try to see that for example I have a string, all right, I have, let's say, string which is kind of this bracket and this. See, this is balanced in itself, right? Correct. See, these are actually, this is balanced, and this part is also again balanced, correct? That means the answer should be S in this case, correct? All right. So what I will do is I will try to use the stack here, which is very efficient. I'll explain you how actually, right? So let's try to take this example itself and try to understand how we can do it. So let's say I will take one stack here first of all, right? This is my stack, and what I will do is I will take I'll try to insert. So my rule is what I'm going to do, if I find any opening bracket, irrespective of bracket type, right? Any opening bracket, parenthesis maybe, then I will simply push it, right? Else, what I will do, I will check if I find the closing bracket, right? If I find closing bracket, then I will check if my top of the stack is also opening. If my then top of stack is same opening bracket, right? Opening bracket, what it means I'll tell you now, right? So for example, let's say take this example, right? And if this is the case, then okay, so this is basically the rule we are going to follow. Okay, so in this case, first let's try to understand. First we have the opening bracket, so let's say this one is actually first character opening bracket. Now we have again opening bracket, this one. So if anything is opening, right, irrespective of bracket type, I'll just insert it, right? Now else closing bracket, if there is any closing bracket. Now this one, like, okay, so this, let's see, if I say string, right? So 0 1 2, these are basically character in this case, right? 5 6 and 7 6, right? Now if I can just see that this here 0 1 2, basically it should be 2 3 4 and 5. Okay, all right. Let's say now actually we inserted this two. Now I found a closing bracket. In this case, what I'm going to do is I have to necessarily find a opening bracket of the same type. For example, if I find this round bracket here, right? Round bracket, closing bracket, if I find here, then my top of stack should be opening round bracket. Correct? If I find it, then what I will do, I will actually pop out. If I find it, then pop, basically stack pop. Alright, this is what I'm going to do. So now, in this case, I am actually here and I found, okay, I have one closing bracket. Then I will go and I'll check if I have my top of stack. So this is my top of stack, right? This is my top, right? Top of stack is actually same type of opening bracket. Then what I will do, I'll just pop out, then it's gone, right? Now I'll move here. I found again opening. I'll simply insert here. Again I found closing. Then again I will check what is my top. Top, this one is gone, right? So I have now become top this. Now again I found, okay, my top is again the same type of opening bracket is there, right? Because this is my top, no? Sorry, this is my next that I'm comparing. So closing of a square bracket. So my top should be having the opening of the kind of opening bracket of the same side. So we are actually there. So we actually pop it out. So I'll pop it out. Now I got this closing bracket again. Again, if I get the closing bracket, then what I will do, I will actually check my top of the stack is of the same type of bracket, but it should be opening bracket. So here is my top actually, right? These two are gone, no? So this is my top. Now I check, okay, my opening, so this my top of stack is opening bracket of the same type. So it is there basically. And if it is there, then I will just remove it or pop out, right? Now you say my stack is empty, correct? So at the end, I will check if my stack is empty, correct? If my stack is empty, then what I will say, I will just return S, correct? Because if his stack is empty, which means I got everything balanced. Balanced means I have one opening and one closing bracket, and then my stack is actually empty. In that case, yes. Otherwise, I'll return no. Correct? Make sense? Let's try to take one more example, guys, and then I think I will actually show you the code, right? How exactly we have to do it, right? So, for example, let's say I'm taking another string which is kind of okay, this one and this bracket and this bracket. Let's see whether this is balanced or not. Okay, let's take this example first, guys. Okay, so what I said, what is my rule? First rule is if opening bracket, opening parenthesis, I think, right? Let's say parenthesis or bracket, same thing, guys, right? Opening bracket, just push it, correct? Just push it, else, correct? Else, if closing, if closing bracket, closing bracket, if it is not opening one, if it is closing bracket, then what I'm going to do, I'm going to check if uh, top of a stack equal to uh, same type of opening bracket is there, correct? If it is there, then push it, pop it basically, pop from the stack. Simple. If this is not there, then I will simply here only return. If, okay, if it is not there, then I will simply return here no actually, right? Because I am not going to traverse whole part of it, right? I will simply return no, which means actually I do not find it balanced, right? So let's try to understand this first, okay? So for example, let's say I'll just take this stack first, okay? Now I'm actually where 0 index 1 2 3 4. All right, now let's try to start basically. So what I'm saying is let's try to basically, okay, so I found opening. So if it is opening, I'm here, I'm traveling here, right, for loop, right? So I'm actually here. If I'm finding opening, I'll just simply push it, pushed it. Now if I find another one, I'll move here. I find another one which is opening, so I'll just push it in the stack. All right. Now if I find closed here, I found the closed one. Then what I will do? If I find closed bracket, then what I will check, top of stack should be same type of opening bracket. Correct. I'm actually here right now. So this is closing bracket of a square bracket. In that case, if it is closing bracket here, then I will go to my stack and check whether top of my stack, and this is my top by the way, right? Top of stack is actually same type of opening bracket. So it is there, right? Because see, this is square bracket and opening also. If it is there, then I will actually pop out. So this is gone actually, correct? This is gone. Now I will move it here. I found another opening. I'll just insert it here. Okay. Now again I went. I checked basically my top of stack. Sorry, the next character, right? Next character. I found it is closing bracket. If it is closing bracket, what I will check? I will check whether my top of stack is of the same type of opening bracket or not. Now guys, here, see, same, I will go and check my top of stack. So my top of stack should be basically this kind of bracket, no? Oh, sorry, not this. Basically opening bracket of the same type, right? Because this is curly type. I should have my top of stack as a curly opening type, which is not there here, which is basically the round bracket. That's why if it is not there, then what I will do, I will simply return n here, no, right? That's it. I will stop everything. I will not check anything further. Okay, fine, making sense? So this is how basically we can see. So let's try to understand one thing. Let's try to see the code directly. I have already coded it. I'll just run it and I'll show you guys, right? So this is what exactly is the logic, and this is very famous interview question as well, right? I mean, for the design round, right? So let's try to let me try to show you, right? So this I have already coded it. I just don't want to, you know, the same concepts what we discussed here. So what we have done is we have actually created a function, and then function is basically returning a string, right? Because I have to return yes or no, right? And I'm passing the string here, string A, correct? Now what I'm doing, I'm actually creating an empty stack first. Now I'm just traversing to this particular string, right? Character by character, right? Caret I. So each of this character I'm just traversing, and I'm actually storing in a character, right? First, let's say first character of the string. I'm checking if character is any of these three type of bracket, no, opening bracket at least, right? Any of these or this or this, anything is coming, then I'll simply push it, right? That's what we discussed. Now there is a logic when we deal with the closing bracket, because the closing bracket, if I find the closing brackets, I mean my character, let's say, is actually round bracket closing. In that case, I will check two things. One thing is I will check that my stack is having some, my stack is not empty first of all, right? If it is empty, then this will actually, this function will give you error. So that's why Because if there is nothing inside the stack, then if you say pop, it will give you error. No, that's why I have to check this condition also. My stack should also have some value, one or two character, whatever, right? At least one character should be there, right? This is another. And third condition I'm going to check is that my top of stack, whatever is there, it should be the opening bracket of the same type. See here the round bracket, so here should be the opening of the round bracket actually, top of stack. So this is what, and then if I find this, I will simply pop out, right? Pop out what? Pop out the stack ka top, right? Now, similar thing for the bracket, curly bracket as well. If I find the curly closing bracket, then I will check my top of stack is curly opening bracket. And if this is the case, then I'll pop out. Same thing for this also, round bracket, right? Not round, I think say square bracket. Same thing, guys, right? If we have looked at this scenario, no? Here, correct? We have looked at it, this particular scenario. Where is this? Here, no? Here, what we did is we actually, when we were checking at the end, no? So when we moved here, the uh, last one, right? Curly bracket, closing bracket, and then we found that, okay, my top of stack is not the this one. So my top of stack was this basically, right? Round opening bracket. That's why we said that no, right? And that's why I simply returned else may no. If none of this condition are satisfied, then I will simply return n, and my function is done actually, right? Otherwise, if I am able to traverse through the entire array, okay, and at the end of this for loop, so for example here is for loop, right? It's ending, and I'll come out the for loop, out of for loop, and then I'll simply check whether my array size equal to 0. If my array size is equal to 0, which means I got all the opening and I'm a pair of opening and closing parenthesis, then I'll simply return as it is balanced. Otherwise, I will here say no. Okay, simple, guys, right? So if you see this, this is the example that I have taken, right? So if I can just run it, I'll show you exactly. You can just see it. Okay, let me run it. I should be actually getting S here in this case. Yeah, same thing, guys. What I discussed, I think you, yeah, see, yes. Let me try to take another example. Okay, what I will say is, I'll just simply say is, okay, instead of this, okay, I have the number of brackets same only, okay, but the order is different actually. You see that here it will be creating problem basically, right? Let me run it. It should give you no actually. Correct? Correct, no? So you can actually try to code this and try to run it by yourself as well. But this is the logic, right? And this is very famous, right? Because what we are actually trying to do, we are trying to check whether my parentheses are balanced or not, right? That's all for this video, guys. And I think hopefully this video is making sense to you. And try to code it, right? So I have already, shown you the code, entire code basically. You can try to code it. If you are not understanding, you can just follow what I have written here, the conditions. I think it's very simple, very intuitive, right? But then I think it is one of the most important question as well. All right, so yeah, that's all for this video. I'll see you soon with the next video. Until then, happy learning, god bless you, and bye.